Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and today, as you can tell, we're going to be doing the testing of the Helm of Draconic Dominance that I got in the last video where I rolled the Dragon Tamer jackpot box, or whatever it's called. But yeah, so I got that in that video. It was pretty crazy. It's actually pretty rare, and today we'll just be testing it. So keep in mind there's not much to test with it since it is an ability, so I'm just going to be going over how it fares in different dungeons and whether or not you should use it as a main helmet, and as in terms of aesthetics. And then also one thing I have to put out there is that I do have the white bags hiding the names and the fame count and the star count, and that is in order to maintain the privacy of the player in question here. So he wanted me to do this video, but of course he doesn't want to be PM'd or bothered by random fans. So that's pretty much why I'm going to be doing this. So yeah, don't get mad at me, please. I just want to help my friend here. But yeah, so let's start off with the Helm of Draconic Dominance. Let's read it. The last piece of the taming ritual requires a man to be bound to a dragon. Wizards were able to link a man to a dragon spirit using magic and pain. Using its power comes with a great cost. So I'm not sure if that's correct grammar. Using its powers come with a great cost. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't read correctly to me. But anyways, activate on self, 250 max HP for 10 seconds, cooldown 10 seconds. That means you can only use it every 10 seconds, which is kind of a downside to it. Enemy effect, within 2.5 squares, paralyzed for 2 seconds. That means you can paralyze people within a small amount of range. And then 5 speed on equipment, so kind of like a jug. It makes you a little faster, but obviously it doesn't boost your speed when you do it. Yeah, different from this, which is Berserk, where you are speedy and also Berserk there for 6 seconds each. And then you have 10 def, which is the same as the 10 def given by the G-Gen, but you are missing the 2 vitality and 2 wisdom, but that shouldn't make a huge difference as long as you have a good pet like this divine pet. And fame bonus is 4%, fame bonus is 4%, and the MP cost is 90 MP, but this one is 85, so it does cost a little more, but that is understandable, and it isn't going to make a huge difference on your gameplay. Now, in terms of aesthetics, obviously this helmet looks amazing. I mean, it's a dark black, pitch black helmet with a gold crowning casing. I mean, it's pretty amazing to look at, and it is one of my favorite items in the game, actually, in terms of looks. And yes, this is obtainable through the little mystery box in the Nexus that is cycled through once in a while, and also obtainable by doing LODs and killing the dragons and doing the chests. But yeah, it's part of a set where there are Amulet of Drakefire and also the rest, the armor and the sword for the set. You get a Dragon Tamer set, and then you get a Dragon Tamer sprite. So first we're going to test it out in the Garlands. Alright, so as you can probably notice already, it's a lot worse for the Garlands in terms of killing the gods, since the DPS is lowered as opposed to the Helm of the Great General, where you are boosted, speedy, where you can get to more gods quicker, but also kill the gods a lot faster. It does give you an HP boost, so I guess you can be a little bit more tanky, and that'll make people with worse pets a little bit better. But in terms of Godlands, I would say if you have a decent pet around level 70 or so, I would say the G-Gen is actually guaranteed to be much better in the Godlands. So I would say it's probably not going to end up being one of the helmets I would choose for having on my warrior most of the time. So I would probably stick with the Great General for the Godlands. So next we're going to test the Sprite World. So right off the bat, if you can tell, by doing Sprite Worlds, you usually use the Great General so you can speedy boost all the way through. So this is going to take considerably a lot more time using this helmet, which only gives you 5 speed boosts, but you aren't able to speed boost all the way there. So I'm pretty sure everybody understands that, so we'll just speed boost our way there normally. But we'll test it on the boss and see whether or not the Paralyze actually helps a lot with the boss. It could or could not. I'm not entirely sure. So it is able to paralyze it, and that makes hitting it better, but also your DPS isn't as good as before, as usual, and in that case, maybe switching back to the other helmet would be best in this case. But if you're gonna get a first hit on the Sprite God, maybe the helmet with Draconic Dominance would be better since it does paralyze. Alright, just FYI, I'm also not maxed all my stats. I'm only like 3/8, so that's probably why I'm not like destroying everything. So now we're gonna test it out on an Abyss. So let's see here how it does. So a bonus of a warrior is that it is very easy to rush things. See here, I can rush through this abyss with a normal helmet because it's so fast and you so much damage output that you can rush through everything. But with this helmet, a Draconic Dominance, it's actually not as good because you're not able to run as speedily. However, some people do abysses with Jug, and in that case you're not that speedy either, so it should be fine. Maybe not as fast, but also a little less dangerous as opposed to the Great General, since with the Great General you can sometimes find yourself running into the lava and that may kill you, and it has killed me a few times in the past. So let's just get through here and let's see how it fares. Alright, so I just noticed something, which is that the Abyss is actually really good with this helmet if you don't have especially if you don't have a paralyzed pet. So imagine if you're being chased and then you just press this paralyze and then you just run away from all of them. And I'm thinking that maybe this helmet might be pretty good for, you know, newer players that well, I don't know if newer players would be able to get this helmet, but if you were able to get this helmet and you don't have a electric pet or something like that, and you're not able to kill things fast enough, you know, maybe you could just press this paralyzed thing and then just walk by and you won't be affected by them. So that's a pretty cool bonus to this. The only thing is you can't spam it too much because of the 10-second delay in between boosts. So in terms of boss viability, I would say this helmet is actually not that useful, as the warrior is known for its high DPS, but in this case, you know, the helmet is not going to be boosting your DPS at all. So in this case, you know, G-Gen is a little bit better, as you're able to basically kill in his first phase, but you know, this is still pretty good. Alright, time to test it on UDL. Now, this is pretty cool. We can paralyze all these shots and then we get a clean hit in on the Septavius, which is pretty awesome. And let's see if we can actually do this again. Oh gosh, I'm lagging. Let's see here. Nope, wasn't able to. And we can try it again before we get quieted. Nope, I am lagging very badly. Yeah, so, I mean, it's okay. But we did get our whiz and we'll drink that, and yep. Alright, so it's okay for the UDL. Ooh, I think I got a attack pod. Oh, I did. So now we're gonna be doing the sewers, and it's gonna be pretty cool on this one because in here there are a lot of mobs actually chasing you, but there are a lot of possibilities for you to get quieted in this dungeon. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's good for this, but see here, I can get paralyzed and then get out of there and then make sure I don't get killed by all these mobs. Aha, paralyzed it. So you do have to get pretty close to paralyze it. But yeah, let's do the boss. Time for us to get chased. Yeah, it's immune. Oh, and we got a death. Alright, cool. So it's pretty good for sewers. Alright, for the snake pit now. So obviously, since snake pit is such a rush heavy dungeon, obviously the Great General would be a little bit better for this, but in general it's not. Okay, that I didn't mean to make that pun, but in general the Draconic helmet can keep up with other helmets, and you could actually use this as a main helmet. It's not terrible, it's not the best, but it is usable if you're willing to deal with the fact that you can't boost like other warriors can. And so, yeah, so let's get to the boss, and the paralyze on the boss would be pretty cool if we were able to paralyze it. And I'm pretty sure we are, because archers are able to do it. So let's see here. Okay, so we did paralyze. So that's pretty cool. So it won't be moving around for a while. And yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. To be honest, I'd say this helmet is actually pretty good on bosses, since it's able to paralyze a lot of these moving bosses pretty well. And you know, that's an added bonus. So I would say maybe using it first to use this helmet to paralyze, and then switching over to the helmet Great General, waiting a few seconds, and then boosting so you get your DPS in, and that would be a pretty good combo. Alright, so in terms of Candyland, using this helmet would be pretty nice since you're able to paralyze all the mobs here. And yeah, so that is pretty nice for it, and also you're able to paralyze the mobs for the Candyland bosses. And yeah, so in terms of Candyland usage, this helmet is pretty good for that, but I'm not sure how many times you're going to actually be using this. And the DPS is pretty nice when you use a G-Gen, but it is usable in here. So in terms of using it in an ice cave, you know, the DPS is good on a G-Gen, but if you're able to use this paralyze and you don't have a paralyzed pet, you know, it's pretty awesome actually if you're able to paralyze these mobs and then get them down, because they do chase you, and you also are able to run away pretty easily if you use a paralyzed helmet. So yeah, and let's see here. Paralyzes, oh shoot, the cooldown, of course. We'll paralyze these guys, and then we'll take them down with a quickie. That sounded weird. But yeah, so easy to clear the ice cave, and the boss is self-explanatory, although I would guarantee that a G-Gen would be better able to paralyze it. And honestly, paralyze is amazing when you're able to paralyze all these little mobs. Just take hits at it. Obviously the the DPS is pretty nice. Again, I keep repeating myself, but the main difference between this helmet and other helmets is that it's not as much DPS. But see, if you have a paralyzed pet, you're able to paralyze it anyways. But if you don't have a paralyzed pet, you know, it's pretty awesome if you're able to come over here and just paralyze everything and then have them stay there, and then you can kill them really easily. But yeah, so for Lords is pretty cool because a lot of the dragons have little minions around them, and it's pretty annoying to deal with. But if you're able to paralyze them with pinpoint accuracy, if you're just standing close enough, it's actually going to be pretty good to use. So something that has lost its viability in the recent weeks, since it doesn't drop the tokens anymore for the old skin that there was, but there is a Halloween skin, and I had an extra key, so I decided to open it up and test it on this. But like this is kind of like the Puppet's Master Encore. So obviously you can there are a lot of enemies that will run around, and you're able to paralyze them with this Draconic helmet. That's just pretty cool actually if you're able to do that. And honestly, it's pretty good for Puppet's Master Encore because of the paralyze. So main thing about this Draconic helmet is that paralyze, of course. And also the HP boost is pretty nice because in this dungeon, Puppet's Master Encore, your HP does actually get really low sometimes. So I know I'm not going to be able to hit down the wall since I'm not even max dex and it's a single warrior. But in terms of doing this this dungeon for the D-Docs, it's actually pretty much the best helmet, or pretty much the best item. I don't know if I should go that far, but it's pretty amazing for this dungeon while you're rushing because of the paralyze. Just imagine rushing and you have like 50 pirates behind you, but press of the button and then all of them are just way behind you because they're paralyzed and you can just walk off. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hit it down. I was hoping maybe I could. So in conclusion, the Draconic helmet is not the best, but it's also not the worst. I wouldn't use it as a main helmet. The G-Gen is actually still pretty much the best. Other than the jug. Of course, the jug should be your first item to put on your warrior, unless you don't have one, like the majority of players do, or don't have one in fact. So yeah, but if you don't have a jug, G-Gen is next, and then I would say Draconic helmet is pretty good. You get to paralyze enemies, you get to, you know, have a little health boost so you can tank a little more. In sketchy situations, you can get out of it and you can tank a little bit more damage. And yeah, all in all, it's a pretty nice helmet. It's usable. It's not your first option, but it is a switchable item, and it could be used as a switch out secondary item for your weapon ability. And yeah, in terms of Oryx, it'd be pretty nice. Yeah, like Shatters, I would say it's pretty nice. You know, OTs, yeah, it would be pretty amazing to use on the Thessal boss. Pretty much the Draconic helmet is really good for bosses. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. For now on, for a lot of my videos where I test out items, I'm going to be testing it out on a lot of dungeons like I did in this video. I know in the past I've been only doing it on these dungeons that were easily accessible in the G-lands, but pretty much I'm going to now be doing a lot of these dungeons where I have extra keys of and I can showcase the item that in question in these dungeons. So I hope you enjoy this video. I spent a bunch of time, like 2 hours on this video. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.